Welcome back, gang, for the first time and hopefully many more to come. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the notifications right here, this little bell, so you can get those emails every time we go live. Peace.
Nonito Donaire is a future Hall of Famer, a fantastic fighter. First of all, I'm noticing a lot of Filipino faces in the crowd. This is this is the most probably support an away fighter has had at a press conference. So, and you know, for the last couple of years, maybe 4 years, I've been approached in the street by Filipinos asking, "What about Donaire? Is that a fight that can happen?" So, he's going to have a big fan base. But this is a fight that I need fights like this to get up for it, and I need names, and what better name than Nonito Donaire? He's an amazing talent, 4-weight world champion. He can punch. And when I say he can punch, you know, you talk about people who can punch, but he doesn't just knock them over. He's put guys to sleep before. So, but that gives me a wee bit of a fear factor, and I think that's when I'm going to be at my best.
To Nonito, who's got this amazing record. He's been a world champion since 2007, on and off, and you can see he's got supporters, friends, and family here today. You're in the ring in September, so you're coming into this on the back of a victory. What about Belfast? How are you enjoying it so far? You've been up on the roof of the hotel before we came in here, which must have been a bit of an interesting experience. Pretty damn cold, isn't it?
Well, first moment I got into Belfast, it was definitely cold. You know, one thing, I thought it was cold, but I never thought it was that cold. You know, but one thing that I did find amazing was the warmth, the welcome, and just the amazing people that I've come across. You know, of course, the Filipino community who's been so warm to me, but the people that helped me out, I mean, knowing who I was facing, but they treated me with respect, with love, with just the welcome, and I was absolutely blown away of how kind you guys are, and that's just that brings a lot. And one thing that I have to say is that no matter what, you know, the love and the loyalty, you can't find this anywhere else. The Irish people, the Belfast people, the love that they have for Carl has been just, I've been here since Tuesday, and just that they would tell me this, you know, well, I wish you luck, but not good of a luck. I wish you well, but not too well. You know, they were making it as a joke in a way, but to be kind, to be too welcoming at the same time, but the loyalty and the love, you can't find that anywhere. And I'm very honored to be here, just to see, knowing that Carl is going to be at his best because of the fact that you guys are behind him, and that's wonderful.
Nonito, you're a student. Yeah, well said indeed. You're a student of the sport, and you talk about the warmth of the people here since you arrived in Belfast, but you must also know that there's an amazing fight history here, of which Carl is so very much a part. It's a big fight town. Do you feel that when you come here?
Well, for what I've experienced, it's just been very kind for me. You know, I come here in the mindset of a warrior, and I see that I hear a lot of how the Irish people love to fight, and the warrior in itself, in the heart. But you know, from what I've experienced, there was just been a lot of welcoming, and I'm just been grateful that no matter what situation I was in, there was always something to be happy about or be grateful about, and that's something that I took in here just the few days that I was here.
Now, at the end of the table on my right-hand side, going to be working alongside Carl once again, Jamie Moore. And Jamie, you're going to be having Carl back in the gym at the end of the month, is it?
Yeah, going to start back on the 29th. So we give ourselves plenty of time to get ready.
And looking forward to going once again, because the last time out, it must have been, for both of you, having not worked together before, it had to be a learning experience to an extent, as you get to know each other.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's always a learning process when you first start to work with somebody, you know, and I think the spotlight's always on the trainer working with someone who's got a profile like Carl's. But I think, you know, the last fight was a good performance. I thought the first half of the fight was was some of the best stuff I'd ever seen Carl do. Horatio Garcia came, and that was his world title fight, and he pushed on strong later on in the fight and pushed him hard. And, you know, in an ideal world before the fight, we would have said, you know, hopefully he'll get him out of there quickly in 2 or 3 rounds and the job will be done. In hindsight now, I'm glad he had the rounds under his belt, because he shed that ring rust. You know, he didn't have a great year last year, finished it on high, and he got rid of the ring rust, which will stand him in better stead for this fight, because this is a tough test. We spoke about it on the phone a couple of times beforehand, and you know, we both agreed that a fight of this magnitude would bring the best out in Carl, because when you're 30 years old and you've been an ex-world champion, these are the sort of tests you need to bring the best out of you. And Nonito is a fantastic fighter. His achievements speak for themselves, but so's Carl. And I just think momentum's in Carl's favour, and I think this is the sort of fight what will bring the best out of him and stand him in good stead for the future.
Carl, how happy were you with your performance last time out against Garcia?
Initially after the fight, I was probably a wee bit critical of myself, but considering the year I had, and looking back, it wasn't a bad performance. I was trying things out, things we've been working on in the gym. I was kind of coasting for the first 4 or 5 rounds, and Horatio Garcia was a big, strong lump, kept coming forward, typical Mexican-style fighter. And there was things that I wasn't doing so well, but we were working on things in the gym, and that's the difference. And against an opponent like Horatio Garcia, you can try things in a fight. Against Nonito, you can't try new things. Things need to happen well. And I think that last fight's going to be a blessing in disguise for me. And again, a tough fight. It's better to go in and have a fight like that where you're pushed hard and you get the rounds in, rather than having a 1 or 2 round knockover job. So the last fight is certainly setting me up for this one.
After that last one, I think a lot of people thought that with the possibility, very real possibility, of an open-air fight at Windsor Park in the summer for a world title, that you might have been excused for taking an easy option in the run-up to that. Did you have to be persuaded to have this guy, or was it a case of as soon as it was mentioned, you said, yeah, bring it on?
No, his name was mentioned, and we didn't speak about any other fighter. So once Nonito Donaire's name was mentioned, I was attracted to the fight, and that was the only boxer that we ever spoke about. So, you know, credit to the teams for working together, Richard Schaefer, MTK, and Frank Warren as well, for bringing a name like Nonito to Belfast. You know, a couple of years ago, you wouldn't have believed that a guy of his calibre would have came here. So that was the only fight that was mentioned. And again, my objective is to win a world title. I'm hoping to fight for a world title in the summer. What better opponent to get you ready for doing that than a guy like Nonito Donaire? You know, there's no point. I'm in this game. I'm a good fighter. I've won big things. What's the point in fighting these knockover jobs? I don't think it's good for me. I don't think it's good for boxing. So, you know, it's just great to be involved on these occasions.
Well, it's most certainly not a knockover job. Certainly not. I mean, from your perspective as a boxer, when you look at this guy, for people who've not seen him fight and maybe don't know too much about him, just describe what you see as his strengths and what you've got to better. Well,
there's fighters who have kind of certain styles and are good at 1 or 2 things, but Nonito, I think, can do a bit of everything. He's a slick boxer when he wants to be, but he's got devastating KO power, and I think that's the last thing to leave any fighter, the punch power. So Nonito, I've seen him putting guys, as I said before, putting guys to sleep. So I'll need to be on my game. I'll need to be switched on from start to finish. But he's not a one-trick pony. He can do a lot of things. So I'll need to be ready for different situations that are going to crop up in the fight.
And with the possibility of Lee Selby or Josh Warrington, or who knows down the line, maybe Leo Santa Cruz in that third rubber meeting. I mean, there's so much on the line, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a lot on the line. I think I spoke to Frank Warren today, who couldn't make it, obviously, with the weather conditions, and and he's talking about trying to make his fight a final eliminator for the WBO as well. So that's another option. Obviously, Selby and Warrington can happen. We're all with the same team. You know, Quig Valdez, the winner of that potentially as well, if it's a final eliminator for the WBO. But again, these are all things that are in the future, and there's only one fight that I'm focused on at the minute, and if I don't win this fight, then these things don't happen. So only one guy on my mind at the minute, and that is the guy sitting to your left.
There's a part of you which would say, and maybe I shouldn't even ask the question, but if something went wrong, is the part of you would say, well, it's not to be?
Look, who knows? You know, I just take one fight at a time. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I'm going to do everything I can in training camp, in preparation for this fight, to make sure that I'm ready, to make sure I can put in the performance of my career, which it may take to win this fight. And I'm, you know, it's an old saying, leave no stone unturned. I always imagine people run the road flipping stones, but I'm going to do everything I can to get ready for this fight.
Well, that's Carl's thoughts on Nonito. Let me turn the tables now and ask Nonito to tell us what he sees as the strengths and his opinion of Carl Frampton as a fighter.
Well, Carl is an incredible fighter. Like he said, you know, he's also a type that can box, that can fight with power. So we're in a way similar in our ways of fighting. There's a lot of similarities in terms of being able to do a lot of things, not just to fight, not just to box, but a lot of things. You know, not only that, but strategically, you know, he's done well against Santa Cruz and all the likes. I mean, he's someone that you cannot take lightly, and like he said, it's one of those things that you can't test. It's just, it has to be done, and you have to be at 100%, or there's no turning back.
Which of your wins do you look back at and say, of your career so far, that was my best night? What do you think, when were you at your best, or when was your best performance?
I've had a few, I've had a few fights, so I have a lot of great moments. My first title was one of the most, I would say, I was focused against Darchinyan in 2007. And the Montiel fight was one of those that I just knew exactly. I put the right game plan, and that's something that I am is a strategic person, a strategist when it comes down to it. Aside from my power and my speed, but one thing I do have is to be able to strategize properly. And with Montiel, that's one thing that I have done well.
Can you be the same fighter who fought Montiel and who fought Darchinyan? Because you're 35 now, don't mind me asking, but what is your ambition? How much of the old Nonito Donaire is still there?
Again, going back into what Carl has done and how why this fight has materialized is we need people, a person that we can truly respect, and at the same time have that tendency of the voice behind our back saying, this guy's tough, this guy's good, anything can happen. You know, but at the same time, it allows the warrior within us to come out. And that's something that will show April 21st if we do have it. But one thing is for sure, and from looking into Carl's eyes, that we're both warriors and we're willing to give everything that we got for this fight. And at the moment, age is only but a number for me, because I'm very inspired to be here. And you know, and again, the Filipino communities have been big support for me, and to see the loyalty from Belfast and the Irish people. I mean, I know and I heard how rugged and rough and tremendous their support for Carl, and there's going to be boos and there's going to be yelling and there's going to be all of that, but I welcome that, because that's fantastic. That's what support is about. That's what loyalty is about. And before anything else, before the boos comes in that fight, I just want to say thank you for the boos for fueling me to be inspired, and of course the cheers to to those, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And for those cheers, that in any situation, no matter how grim it might be, there's always that gratitude moment that you can be grateful for anything. So, again, I'm just grateful to be here and excited at the same time.